You are listening to the Warrior Project podcast, where mindset, tribe, and violence meet.
My name is Justin Garcia, also known as Master Chim, and welcome to the Warrior Project podcast. I appreciate you guys listening to this podcast, checking out my stuff, and I will also say that I've been very, very grateful about the reviews that you guys have been giving me on both iTunes and on the Master Chim Facebook page. I appreciate, obviously I know you guys are busy, spending some time with me, hanging out. These aren't too long, so they are delivered to you in small, consumable chunks, but I still appreciate it nonetheless. If you guys have not yet checked out thewarriorproject.com, it's where you will find not only the archive of all of these episodes, but you'll also find a way to join the Warrior Project Tribe, which is my membership site. Aside from hundreds of hours of archived episodes, there is a live video that I do every week with its members, a private Facebook group, a monthly power program video series. It is chock full of benefits and power, but you can go to thewarriorproject.com and check that out. So today's query, what is loyalty? What is loyalty? So this is one of those terms, like so many other terms, that probably began as a word or a term used to describe a feeling, a concept, an abstract idea, this notion that so many people sort of strived to become and embody and display. It was something considered to be virtuous. And over time, like so many other words before it, it has become nothing more than a word. Loyalty is something that you want to be, often for most people these days, not really even knowing what it is, though. So we're gonna break it down a little bit today. I'm going to give you a couple of terms that I coined and I use with a lot of my philosophy and the way that I structure tribal dynamics. But at the end of this episode, you should have an idea of what loyalty is, even if you decide to use your own terms to describe the concepts that I'm sharing with you. So the first thing we need to understand if we're discussing loyalty are the parties involved, right? And the two parties, the main parties involved, I should say the minimum, the ones used to illustrate the most basic of displays of what loyalty can be, is you have to start with the parties of the individual and the group. Now, the individual and the group, I feel, is the easiest way to illustrate the concept of loyalty. Obviously, you can go individual to individual, group to group, but individual to the group has a lot of sort of special relationships that I think allow people to sort of identify and resonate with a lot of the stuff that I'm going to go over. So when we talk about the identity of the individual, it's pretty much what the individual is aiming to achieve. What I would say is the individual's mission, right? So if you are a young man aspiring to be a soldier, you want to join the military, you want to be a soldier, you want to fight the good fight for America. Well, there are certain things in your life that you're going to do to stay sort of on target with that. Probably not going to develop a drug habit. Probably not going to start having babies at 16, right? So just to give you some extreme examples, there are certain life choices that we will make, certain life choices we will not make. If we are a young man aiming and aspiring to be in the military, we would say that the military is that young man's mission, right? So every individual, whether you realize it or not, has a mission. And sometimes it's where you are aiming your life. Sometimes it just happens to be the direction in which your life is aimed, right? Whether you did the aiming or not. But the individual's mission is very, very important when eventually building on an understanding of what loyalty is. After the individual, we then have to go to the tribe, right? Or the group. So the tribe, we say, is a collection of individual identities all brought together for a shared mission, right? A shared mission. And now loyalty is going to be the individual's commitment to what that group mission is. So if I say that I am a vegan, right, and I love this example because it stays away from all the other controversial ones. Lets everybody listen to the whole spiel before they start jumping down my throat. But let's say that I'm a vegan and I join a vegan tribe, right? It's a tribe and we live in the middle of the woods where we just eat our surroundings, I guess. And everything that I do is in unison and congruent with this idea of being a vegan. We don't eat meat, we don't eat dairy, we don't eat eggs, we don't eat anything of an animal, right? Or whatever their motto happens to be. Well, one day I smell some bacon, right? And maybe a hiker just happens to leave a plate of bacon, in the middle of these woods, and I smell them. And I know what it is. I know the smell, and I also know that I'm not supposed to eat it. Now, what may happen is I start to wrestle with the notion of maybe getting a little bit of taste of the bacon. Maybe one bite. One bite isn't going to hurt anything. I'll spit it out, whatever the case is. Just a little, chew it on a little bit, get a little fat down the system, and spit out the rest. And, I didn't eat the bacon, right? Whatever the case is, I know that I am now compromising what I know the tribe's mission to be. So if you have the individual who is now saying, well, you know what? I am a vegan. I am part of this vegan community, but that bacon sure looks good. That process I describe as opening up one's loyalty, right? So having an open loyalty means that you not only are not sharing your mission with the tribe, but what makes it a loyalty issue is that the tribe is under the assumption that you do. So you are a member of this tribe. You are a member of the group. Everybody looks at you as a brother, as a sister, what have you, and you are a representative of that tribe. Yet here you are harboring beliefs, right? And maybe even those beliefs transforming into mission that do not coincide with the mission of the group itself. So if I am a bacon eater, I cannot be in the vegan tribe, right? It is incongruent. Everybody who follows the edicts and the principles and the sort of collective mission of the group, we would say has more of a closed loyalty. Now, if you've watched the Loyalty Matrix program that I put out a few years ago, and you could find it on thewarriorproject.com, the Loyalty Matrix describes this never-ending shift from open to closed loyalty, and it really happens from moment to moment, from beat to beat in time. And there are going to be times where we are more loyal to the group, times where we are less loyal to the group. And loyalty itself is the assessment of where that is. So loyalty, and this is a very, very important observation to be made, is not something that happens in the abstract. I cannot sort of think a level of loyalty and expect any sort of benefit or reward or consequence from those thoughts. When it comes to loyalty, its currency is bound to the real world, and it is measured in deeds, right? So a great, probably the most succinct assessment of what loyalty is that I ever heard was from the recently passed Pamanatuan Chris Sayak of the Sayak Kali family. And he said loyalty is an unbroken chain of deeds. And deeds is certainly where it's at, but the construction of the rest of the sentence is really profound in that it is unbroken, right? So loyalty, let's dissect that for a second. Loyalty is an unbroken chain of deeds. So there is a sequence of deeds, a sequence of actions that you are performing. It is not what you are saying. It is not what you are promising. It is not what you are boasting. And it's also not things that you have done in the past that have been separated from now by deeds to the contrary. Okay, so you can't be somebody who is super trustworthy and then steal something and then be super trustworthy again. Hey, listen, there were 365 days in the year. I only robbed you one of them. It's not the way it works, right? So when it comes to loyalty, the fact that we should not only base our exhibition or demonstration or communication of loyalty through our deeds, but it is also important to remember that these deeds need to be in sequence. We cannot pick and choose when we're going to be loyal or not loyal or disloyal, right? And when it comes to measuring open loyalty and closed loyalty, it gives us sort of the tools to sort of quantify what that is. Am I being loyal to somebody? Well, what promises did I make to that person? What does that person expect of me? And bottom line, am I doing it? Visit MasterChim.com. MasterChim.com is where you'll find the Master Chim letter, which is my daily morning email. I send out announcements. I send out updates and event announcements, and just try to keep you in the loop of everything that's going on in the world of Master Chim. A lot of times I share content. Sometimes I'm just making sure you know what's going on. But either way, it's completely free. I've gotten great feedback from it. And you can find that at masterchim.com for the Master Chim letter. All right, guys. I enjoyed recording this episode. It's a topic that I discuss often and have really, I would think, comfortably developed a lot of sort of nuance in, because I've dealt with it so much and so often with so many different people. But I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you again for listening to the podcast. And remember, warriors, someone believes in you. Prove them right.